Someone asked me, why don't we talk about mental health impacts of slavery? And you know what? I don't fully know. I don't have a neat answer for that question. Maybe it's because some wounds are easier to hide or overlook than to name. Maybe it's just complicated. And for those who think we do talk about it, maybe we actually do, just not enough or not in the ways you would expect. Either way, let's think about it together. Back then, there weren't words for depression, anxiety, or trauma like we have today. Mental health wasn't recorded in that way, but that doesn't mean people weren't suffering. Maybe that's why so much of that pain got carried in song, in faith, in stories, and in folklore. Spirituals weren't just music, they were coded cries for freedom and prayers for strength. Folktales about tricksters like Anansi, on the surface, children's stories, but maybe there were lessons in resilience, cleverness, and survival that referenced fear, loss, and hope without ever saying the words. In other words, maybe we've been talking about mental health all along, just indirectly. Maybe it's because when people talk about slavery, they focus on what we can see, such as poverty, inequality, and systemic racism, and not so much on the invisible wounds, such as trauma, grief, and identity struggles. These were harder to trace, but no less real. Maybe silence itself was a survival strategy. Vulnerability could be punished. Pain went underground. But the silent suffering didn't vanish. It got passed down, and maybe that's one reason why we are still often silent about our own emotional and psychological pain, what we now call mental health stigma. Maybe trauma is messy. Maybe that's why mistrust lingers in our systems and institutions. Maybe that's why anxiety runs high, why asking for help feels risky, and why silence can feel safer than speaking out. So, why don't we talk about it? Maybe because we already have, but in ways that felt safe, coded, and indirect. The difference now is that we have the language, we have safer spaces, and maybe it's time to be more direct, to say out loud what our ancestors had to hide. Because if trauma can echo across generations, maybe healing can too. And the conversations we start today, the words we finally speak, might just become the folklore of resilience for tomorrow.